He thought leaving would save him, but some things follow you forever. The house on the West End. So, back in the summer of 2018, this guy Jack, late 20s from New York, decides he needs a fresh start. He just quit his marketing job and moves out to this quiet little suburb in Oregon. He found a rental on the west end of town, kinda old but cheap, and the owner promised it had character. From the moment Jack stepped inside, there was this weird vibe. Not the usual creaky old house vibe, something else. Like the air itself felt heavy, and the corners of the house seemed darker than they should be. Jack shrugged it off at first, telling himself, "It's just a new place, chill out." The first night he heard soft knocks coming from the kitchen. He figured it was the wind or maybe the pipes, so he ignored it. But then around 2 a.m., he heard it again, this time louder, like someone tapping on the countertop. Slowly, deliberately. Jack got up, flashlight in hand, and went to check. No one there, no wind, no explanation. That's when he noticed the fridge door wasn't fully closed. Strange, because he always double-checked it. He shut it tight, went back to bed, and tried to sleep. But just as he was drifting off, he heard it. A whisper, clear as day. "Leave!" Jack froze. He told himself it was a nightmare. But it wasn't. He stayed in bed, eyes wide open, listening. The whisper came again. "Leave. Now." And that's when he realized this was just the beginning. Strange signs and shadows. Next morning, Jack tried to brush it off. "It's just nerves," he muttered while making coffee. But things kept getting weird. Small stuff at first. Things slightly moved, like his keys weren't where he left them. A chair shifted overnight. Shadows in corners that didn't make sense. One night he was on the couch watching TV, and he saw it. Someone standing at the end of the hallway. Just a silhouette. He froze. "Hello," he called out. Nothing. By the time he got to the hallway, it was gone. Just gone. He started noticing more odd things. Pictures on the wall slowly tilted. Doors that were closed firmly would be slightly open in the morning, and sometimes he'd hear footsteps upstairs, even though he lived alone. Then came the dreams. Weird, vivid dreams. Dreams where he was walking through his house, but everything felt wrong. Walls longer than they should be. Doors that led to rooms he'd never seen. Whispers in the dark saying things like, "You don't belong here." Jack tried telling himself it was all stress. Moving to a new place, starting over, but deep down, he knew something was off. And the whispering wasn't stopping. Every night, clearer, closer, like it was right next to his ear. "Leave before it's too late." By the end of the week, he noticed scratches. Small, thin ones on the wooden floor near his bedroom door. He swore no one had been in the house, yet the marks weren't there before. He started keeping a flashlight and a baseball bat near the bed. Something in that house didn't want him there. And whatever it was getting bolder. The night that changed everything. By the second week, Jack was on edge 24/7. He barely slept. Every creak, every shadow made him jump. One night, around 1:30 a.m., he heard it again. The whispering. Louder this time. Almost screaming in his ear. "Go! Now!" He bolted out of bed, flashlight shaking in his hand, and ran to the hallway. That's when he saw it. A figure, dark, formless, just standing at the end of the hall. No face, just emptiness. And it moved slowly toward him. Jack backed up, heart pounding, yelling, "Who's there? What do you want?" Nothing. The thing kept coming. Then, in a blink, it vanished. But the feeling stayed, the kind of cold, that sinks into your bones. The next morning, Jack found more scratches. Not just the floor this time. Walls, doors, even the ceiling. And a message, written as if clawed with fingernails. "You shouldn't be here." He called the landlord. The guy laughed. "Old house, dude. Settling noises. You're just spooked." But Jack knew better. He started researching the house's history. Turns out, decades ago, a family had lived there. Parents and a teenage son. One night, the son disappeared. Never found. The rest of the family left shortly after. Locals whispered about strange shadows, whispers, and people who never stayed in the house more than a few months. Jack tried to leave, but every time he packed, something would prevent him. Doors stuck, lights flickering, whispers in the walls, like the house was alive. He realized this wasn't just a haunted house story. It was real, and whatever was inside, it didn't want him gone. That night, Jack stayed up, clutching his bat, flashlight sweeping every corner. He swore he saw eyes watching from the shadows, heard breathing that wasn't his own. And then, right before dawn, he heard it one last time. "You can leave, but we'll find you." Jack never stayed another night. He packed and left, never looked back. But sometimes, even now, he swears he hears whispers when he's alone. Soft, American-accented whispers, calling his name. The haunting didn't end. After leaving the house, Jack thought he was free. He moved into a small apartment downtown, thinking distance would put an end to all of it. But it didn't. At first, it was little things. Keys disappearing, TV turning on by itself, doors creaking as if someone walked by. He tried to laugh it off, telling himself, "Old nerves, man. You're just stressed." But then the whispers started again. Not every night, but sometimes just when he was alone. Soft, almost casual, but unmistakable. "Jack, you shouldn't have left." Jack started noticing shadows and reflections. Windows, mirrors, even in his phone screen. Always in the corner of his eye, gone when he turned to look directly. He tried to record it, but every time he hit record, nothing appeared on playback. Friends noticed a change in him. He was jumpy, nervous, barely sleeping. One night, during a video call, his friend said, "Dude, your eyes, you look haunted." And he was, because in the darkest corners of his apartment, he saw a faint, human-shaped shadow, watching, waiting. Jack finally realized this wasn't just about the house. Whatever had claimed it, whatever had whispered at him, scratched at doors, moved shadows, wasn't bound by walls. It had followed him. He started researching histories of hauntings, disappearances, paranormal activity, and that's when he found it. Dozens of stories, all in that same suburb, all referencing the West End, that old, supposedly abandoned neighborhood. People moving in, people leaving, some never leaving. Jack doesn't talk about it much anymore, but he swears, if you listen carefully on a quiet night, far from the city, you might hear it. A whisper, soft but clear, American accented, "We'll find you, eventually." And that's the truth he learned too late.